Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome to today's episode of the Rising Youth Talk Show with me, Tetemante Albert, your host. You can call me Grandpa. Anytime, any day, I'll respond to you. Today on the Rising Youth Talk Show, I have with me a very wonderful man. A personality that I've always been waiting to have one-on-one with, and today I've gotten that privilege. And he is the resident pastor for the Methodist Church Apostle Ahojo Circuit. We're doing justice to a very important topic concerning Christianity and that of youth in general when it comes to employment. And he is here to do justice to that topic. Help me welcome Pastor John Akroma Koomson.
Thank you, sir.
Oh God. Finally.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Rising Youth Talk Show.
Thank you.
Today we're talking about the Christian youth and employment. What should my viewers expect?
I believe we are going to do justice to it and bring to the notice of the youth, specifically those ones who are into that prayer tower, young ministers who think that it's all about praying in the church. We want to talk to them and then explain things so that it wouldn't be like if you are called to be a minister and you're a young man, I understand full-time ministry and all those stuff, but as young as you are, there are a lot of things you have to settle for before you consider the full-time. That is ministry. The exception is only when you have a direct inspiration that you are not supposed to enter into those areas. But in the mass, I think we are going to talk more on the young ones who are coming like myself, who think that it's more of full-time ministry than establishing ourselves in businesses and working in other industries and other stuff. So I think we are going to work more on this area.
Sure. Like you heard from the horse's own mouth, we're going to do justice to in this topic. So if you're a prayer tower member or you're an usher, you're a serious person who is so attached to church, stay glued to this channel and let's have this conversation, see where you fall, and let's see how best we can grow as youth and still love the work of God. Yes. So be reminded that this show is proudly brought to you by the Gram Sati. Inside the Gram Sati, you can do anything graphics, anything photography, and anything videography. Voiceovers and all that for your advertisement is available at the Gram Sati. Just come in and Gram Sati will serve you anything you want. We're going into our conversation, but then before we do that, just like we do on the Rising Youth Talk Show all the time, we have to know our personality. I know him, and I believe you out there deserve to know him also before we go into the topic. So you know that he's somebody that can put that influence when it comes to that churchy stuff.
Okay.
Man of God.
Yes, sir.
Pastor John Akroma Koomson. Who is Pastor John? We know you from some time back. I know you. I've had chance to do one or two stuff with you. But my viewers will love to know you as well.
My name is John Akroma Koomson Jr.
The senior.
Named after my father, who is currently late.
May he so rest in peace.
I'm the sixth-born of my parents, and we are 6 guys and then 2 ladies. Six men.
6 strong men.
Yeah. And I'm the 5th of the guys. Yeah.
Wow. Daddy did a good job.
Yeah, he did a good job. But unfortunately, the one after me left us when we were young.
Oh, okay.
So that's where we are coming from. We were trained at a place called Old Town, just around Kumai Sports Stadium, that area, where Calvary Methodist is.
Okay.
Yeah, around the area, that's where we were trained, and I left the place when I completed the GHS. I started school at the school at Aedi as Infant Jesus.
Okay.
Infant Jesus. Then from there to Living Waters at Atunsu. Then around class 3, I left to Army Basic at Barracks.
Okay.
So I completed GHS at Army Basic School, and I continued at Asokore Amas, SHS. And we were the first batch to ever go for the 4-year course.
Oh.
Yeah. So from there, we were actually in the house for some time, of which we may talk about those issues, some of the mistakes we did when we were coming up, thinking we were into ministry. Yeah, so we'll talk about those things. But then, after SHS, we had to come back to the house and then do some 1 or 2 stuff. And then we came back to Koomson Technical University, worked on our HND, accounting with computing. Yeah, and then currently I'm done with the degree not long ago.
So you're not just a man of God, but an accountant as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
That's awesome.
And then in ministry, where I'm coming from, the Methodist Church, you don't just become a preacher. You have to be trained to some point. And then currently I hold a certificate for, we call them the lay preachers.
The lay preachers.
It's actually an opportunity for you to preach within the confinement you find yourself. But you are not an ordained minister. That's why when you asked, I told you, you cannot use pastor. You can use pastor when I'm out there, but in my church, no, pastor is not.
I know Methodist Church has that line of discipline.
Yeah,
you got to come from stage to stage before.
So currently, I'm having a certificate, part 1 and 2 for the lay preachers exam, and then I'm now a caretaker. In the layman's view, is a resident pastor. Yeah, but in our church, we call them caretakers. That is to say, you are taking care of a church. You are standing in place of the main reverend minister. Yeah, at a parcel off Sokoban Road, Ahonjo Sokoban. Yeah, and Ahonjo Circuit. So that's it for now. Mom is Augustina Koomson.
Okay.
And dad bears my name, John Koomson. But he was senior and I was junior. But in no time, all my certificates, I will delete the junior.
So now
I'm the senior one.
You can carry that is anointing. That's great. That's great. But one would like to know, okay, growing up, we saw the transitions from your words from this school to that school, the transition. Is it that the family was well endowed? That's why you move in and out from school to school?
Well, dad was that strict when it comes to schooling. And things were not that fine financially. So we struggled our way. First 3 of them were not really into schooling.
Okay. Yeah,
so the last 4, that is to say, after the one after me died, the last 4 of us were seriously into schooling. And he wouldn't give you the chance. Among my family, we are all footballers.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been a goalkeeper.
You can give some good skills.
Yeah, I've been
a
goalkeeper from, I think, class 5.
Oh.
Yeah, class 5 thereabouts. I only stopped when ministry caught me up.
Okay.
Yeah, I stopped around that area when I was in SHS 2. Actually, I was still playing, but it was not official.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because of the church duties, you couldn't take official football.
Where we were coming from, and I had to stop. But it's not basically because of ministry.
Okay.
But at a point, I realized that I cannot be doing the 2 of them
together.
At the same time.
Some commitment, I guess.
So I had to give up the football.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's where we got our leadership skill from. We have actually been helping people on the field, trying to organize them, being the last man. Yeah. And I have about 3 goalkeepers, and we all were also good players as well. But I think one of them was seriously into
football.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, none of us couldn't play. I was the only hope. as and when they thought they couldn't continue because money was an issue. Yeah, so one of us was trying to establish himself so that he can help me out.
Okay.
Yeah, so when he got himself established, I was a pastor. So I'll have to support him in the work of God. And I want to thank you.
Like not too late, I guess. Football, how it comes with some age.
As it stands now, and in Ghanaian football, no. And it will take more than the normal training. I'm looking at my stature.
Okay.
So I'll have to. We'll play for fun. Yeah, but.
Alright. But originally, where is Pastor Koomson from?
I'm from a place called Edna Ampini.
Edna Ampini.
Yeah,
Central region.
Yeah, Central region.
Okay.
That's where mom comes from. So.
No, okay, matrilineal. So we got to go to mom's side.
Mm-hmm. But dad comes from a place in Cape Coast called Mori.
Mori. Yeah. So, all right. All the viewers have enjoyed this these details, and I believe you have enjoyed it yourself. But we are here to do justice to a particular topic, and we've got to get on to it. And that is the Christian youth and employment. Most of the times when we are so passionate about the work of God, we tend to forget that we have a whole life to live as well. And certain opportunities come our way because of the church factor. We kind of put them aside, but the choices may be ours, that's right. But the question is, how has that been helpful, or how is that helpful for the growing Christian youth?
Yeah.
Man of God,
Remember,
the Christian youth and employment today. Gone are the days when you see the youth chasing after job, after job, after job, and then at the same time run to the church for every activity, that because there was that gap, there was that space. I think would you say the Christian youth today is on that right path when it comes to taking employment opportunities?
Yeah, to be a church member, I think most of us are doing it, trying to find something to do. But the problem now is with those of us who want to become ministers, song ministers, word ministers, and then instrumentalists, and those people who are into the Christendom. The problem now is that we are expecting the church to do the work of employees.
Okay.
Yeah, not the employers as well.
Employers, okay.
So we have come to a point where the instrumentalist is expecting to receive something from the church. That is to say, not a church he is not coming in from, a church where he was raised, trained, and prayer tower members, prayer and all those stuff. We think that we need to do it in the church, and the church pays us in that order. So currently, in the ancient days, or in the olden days, you realize that the person is a minister and at the same time a farmer.
Okay.
He is a pastor and at the same time in some kind of a business. But now you see us, we want to put everything into what we call now ministry, so that we struggle so much, use all our strength, and at a point in time when we think that nothing is happening, then we feel like God is disappointing us. But that is not the problem. So in the olden days, comparing to this time, I think that our fathers were more concerned about working to get something to help the ministry. But in our time, we want to drain the ministry, and then I don't know how.
Would you say drain? Because if perhaps I have gone to study how to play keyboard, and I played so well, and I am needed at some interval of time with the church, isn't it okay that the church employs me rather, so that I have all the time for the church work?
We have.
And how does that become
when it comes to instrumentalists, we have people who do it as their job.
Mm-hmm.
You see.
Mm-hmm.
And we have also people who are doing it. Let's take Joe Metal. He's a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
And then this man is into singing. He can play a lot of instruments. Okay. And whatever he's doing, that is what he has been trained to do. And I don't think he will expect his church, I'm not talking about the outside church.
Okay.
I don't think he will expect his church to pay him that much. It will be an appreciation, but it will not be a pay like a salary, comparing it to that of working under an employer. We cannot do that payment. It will take the church to establish itself to a particular level before we can do all those things. And some of the instrumentalists were actually, they were trained by the church.
Okay.
You see, the church bore the cost of their training. And now, being there is a problem. But my point now is that being a worker in the church, a young man in the church, whether you are being well paid, well taken care of in your church, my question is, for how long?
Mm-hmm.
Being an instrumentalist at the age of 45, can you still be playing and be taking money?
Sure.
So it is not wrong.
How will be sustainable is that money you receive into
It is not wrong to take those monies. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that, for how long?
Okay.
So you see, our fathers, they make sure that whatever they are doing, they consider their future. But we are considering what we can eat now today. So we'll get to a point in life, the same pastors whom we did not want to do anything for free to, these are the people who are going to tell us that they don't need our services because somebody younger than you will do something better than what
you are doing currently.
That is why you should consider getting yourself involved in a particular work. It may not be joining somebody's work. You have a skill. Mm-hmm. In my family growing up, my other brothers were into plumbing. And at a point when they are going, they will call you.
So you cannot learn that
skill.
So
somehow you learn a skill. Mm-hmm. Currently I have a brother who is an electric welder. And one of the mistakes I said I would be talking about, after SHS, I had to stay in the house for 5 years, trying to gather myself and come back into education. And now this brother of mine was a master on his own. He calls me to come and help. There is something, a term they call grinding. So you go there, you grind the whole thing for him, and then I'll leave the place thinking I'm going to do ministry.
When you should have been practicing.
If I had joined him,
you could have built.
By this time, even though I am becoming an accountant, but by this time I will be an accountant and I'll have a job. So that when I'm not employed, I can still do my own thing.
Your own business.
You see that thing? This brother of mine is a singing band master in the church, and he cares less whether they'll give him money or not because he has something to do.
That's right.
And so, no matter how wicked the church will become, the pastors will choose not to give him. He will not be greatly affected because he has something to take care of himself. That is my point. So, we, the prayer tower members that are coming, we, the instrumentalists that are coming, whatever part you play in the Christian community, don't just do that one. Mm-hmm. Do another thing. Mm-hmm. So our topic today is that the Christian youth and employment. And so, are you waiting to be employed before you do something? Maybe you have not schooled like ours. SHS, they give you 150 cedis. Maximum is 300 cedis. If you are lucky, you get a job that can give you like 700 or more.
Yeah.
But for how long?
How long?
If you have been taken from that area, where else are you taking that certificate to?
But on the other side too, you get some of these youth coming across these job opportunities, and then all you hear them say is, my church will need me on Sunday, on Saturday, and therefore this job I can't do Wednesday, I can't do at this time, I have to close at this time. Now, would you say that they are not taking that opportunity because of the interest of the church, or that they are doing themselves?
I'll take you on this one.
Because I'm saying this because you see, like I earlier mentioned, somebody has taken the drum or the keyboard as his full-time job. So should it be that a music industry is employing such person and going away from the church? And you earlier mentioned how churches do help in paying some of the tuition for these guys. So would you say that for the interest of the church, they are denying the business or denying the employabilities?
No.
Or what?
The church doesn't take care of you. The church appreciates you. Okay? The church doesn't take care of you. We have been in churches where at a point in our schooling, they have to come in because things were so hard. But they only appreciate what you have done. In your point, this person has made the drumming his job. You see, and so somehow he has a plan. He knows where he's coming from. He knows where he's going to. I have a young guy called Murphy. He's a keyboardist. I met him about 4 or 5 years ago. We were going for a mission, and then he joined us. When this guy came, by that time he mentioned some popular ministers in Koomson here that he has been playing for, and all of them were that good. They were established, and they can pay you everything you want. But the problem is, this guy joined us. He played for us, and he told us it is a mission, so he's not taking anything. And I was like, how? The people have been training for so long, and at a point they are like, you don't give us anything. This guy comes in, and then he wants to tell me that even though I have not trained him, but he understands what he's coming to.
Yeah.
Now he has this studio. So if he is not schooling, currently we see musicians trying to establish themselves, moving from one studio to the other. And so he may not be schooling now. He may not be employed now, but he has something that is going to take care of him.
Sure.
You see, being employed, the end result is to make a living. So whatever you are doing, can it sustain you till your old age?
Okay.
That is where education comes in. That is where learning a trade comes in. So it's not just about being employed by an employer. Whatever we are being told to do, can it sustain you till the time you think, now I may be single, now I am not married. So whatever I'm receiving now, I should not be deceived that
you're okay with
I'm okay with it, because 2 years, 3 years, I may be having a child.
Sure.
Can what I'm receiving now sustain me in those periods? That is why you have to learn something. I had people after SHS, I had people who took care of me for free.
Okay.
They could pay anything. All I need to do is to tell them I need this, and they'll give me. So I told myself no more schooling.
Because we were getting all this.
You see, no more schooling. And I remember somewhere in 2016, I told my father that I don't want to school again, I want to marry. And telling him that he didn't want to shut me up. And so he told me, okay, he has said me, I should go and bring the lady.
Okay.
He asked me one question. And after that question, I said, I don't know. He said, go, you are not ready.
You are not ready.
So moving from one
I'm
place to
interested
the
in
other.
knowing that question.
Oh, he asked me where the lady comes from. And I said, I don't know.
Oh.
And he said that I should go.
And how could
I'm
you
not
be
ready.
marrying someone you don't even know
You
where
see,
they come from?
it means that as at that time,
You
I did
were
not need
ready.
marriage. I needed either schooling
Yes,
or a job.
That's right. That's right.
So moving from one place to another, praying for people. My style was like, I know Grandpa, I know he's trying to establish himself, I know he has this, he has that. One day I'm there, I call people who were with me in this prayer thing we're doing. We come to your shop, we pray for you. We are not coming because we want money. We just want to pray for you.
Yeah.
And then at some point, if you come to church, you give offering.
Definitely.
So if the work is well established, if it is growing, if benefits are coming, somehow you bless our church.
Sure.
So we come from one place to the other until I met a lady called Bessie. And then this lady said, Junior, now the way I want tea. Are you trying to tell me, say, SS when I told them, my family people need unity. I'm not ready for no day. I can't continue. She told me I should go and bring my results. And I have this guy who was with me called Sewan.
Okay.
I told him, say, give me a TV.
Then I am quite.
So I waited for him. He brought his results and I sent it to this lady. I will use this opportunity to tell anybody who is thinking that it's all about going to KNUST. It's all about going to Legon. That mentality is not when I was coming to by then it was called Koomson Polytechnic. One of my in-laws told me, my sister's husband told me that
You see. For the technical training.
You see, but when I called this friend of mine, we came to the lady as at that time was an accountant to a company.
Okay.
And then she also completed Takrady Poly.
The same
so
poly.
the same
People
Polytechnic.
are denying.
And she was an accountant to a company. And as at that time, she was trying to work on her degree. So she told me, go and bring your results. I showed the results to her. And she was like, hey, then do when you're accounting B, when you're see one F Then he called a man at Baptist University. The man also called another person, but then the dean of students in 2016 in Koomson Polytechnic there. And then he taught me how to go about it. I wrote an entrance exam as a mature student. Boom, I was into accounting and computing.
Wow.
And sometimes the problem is with the people we work with, the people who surround us. Do you know that by then I had a ministry called Redeemers Evangelistic Movement.
Okay.
We were into missions. And the young ones who were coming with me, I founded it. So we were all there. After SHS, it's normal because I was an SHS graduate. Surprisingly, there was a guy, I named him the president to the group. He entered into Jahan Training College in Wa. And I also said I wanted to join. The very moment I entered school, the rest of us, everybody wants to go to school.
So it's the kind of influence you're having there.
You see. So it's not all about I am a Christian. I am into ministry. You were asking about this thing called I am a drama, the church,
the time factor for the job.
The issue is that you know what you want to do. I want to be a drummer. This is what I'm doing. There are so many people, that is what they do. And they will do it till they die. That is their job. But we also have people, they are playing for fun.
Oh, yeah.
You see, they come in, they play for the church, they take 15 CDs, 20 CDs, they go. They come in, they play, they take 500 CDs. By next week, the money is finished. They will come for another one. These are the people I'm talking about. If it is not an industry you want to work within, find yourself an industry. Establish yourself. It is either you are being employed by an employer or get yourself something to do to sustain yourself.
Being an entrepreneur is
okay
key. But I would love to also ask this. Has the pastors or has the church been good enough to these young ones? Because if you're a pastor, or let me put it this way, has the church not so endowed enough to be able to take care of these people? Because if I'm serving under you and you need my service so much, like the drummer and the singers who are mostly needed, now is the church not that well endowed to employ them so that you know, okay, this is my job, instead of now going hopping here and there taking that 20, 50 cedis, 100 cedis, rather let me station and then master the craft that I have picked. has the church been good enough to these young ones?
Some of the churches are helping. I know of a church where we started this church thing when I was young. There is this man, when I was very young, I saw him learning how to play keyboard. Now the church has rented for him. They pay his utility bills and they give him an amount every month. But my friend, the problem now is that how many offices are in the church?
Okay.
And considering the number of people in the church, how many people in the church can the church employ? Like where my church is, it's now 3 years old. So if you're a keyboardist in the church, you don't expect that I will give you a monthly salary because you are playing.
You are playing.
You see the thing? So one thing the church, I have come to know in my church, that whatever you do, you are not going to stay here till the end of your lifetime.
Yeah.
And so the church should come to a point, do I say, if you enter some of the churches, the ministers are doing so well that they will teach you, find something to do.
Okay.
Find something. The man who trained me, his name is David Akoto, from the beginning.
The Reverend Minister or Pastor?
Currently, he's becoming a Methodist minister.
Okay.
He's in the US now. And this man will make sure you do something. Yes. He will make sure you do something. You don't go to him and ask him, so if 100 cedis, he give you 100 cedis. Even if it is in his capacity to give you, he will make sure he has scorned you to a point before he can release the money to you. And so going back to him again, something tells you, my friend, do something on your own.
That's right.
You see the thing? So a lot of the ministers are helping. My problem is that the offices in the church, which demands people who are going to be working there to be paid, are not that plenty. So we have one keyboardist, we have one drummer, we have about 3 singers. We can pay all of them. What about the rest of them who are singing? The rest of them who can play, and then they are not in, they are not on the payroll of the church. What are they going to do? So as young as we are coming, you should consider that you are not going to live here for the rest of your life. Any change can come. Marriage can take you out. We have seen instances in my church, a lady got married and she left the church. You can't say anything. You have nothing to do. Yeah. Where I used to be, somewhere in Sokobine area, I was a prayer tower leader in that church. At a point, they established a new one, and I was supposed to go. So, assuming they were giving me some allowance,
did they have compelled you to stay?
Yeah. Assuming they were giving me some allowance, and now I'm supposed to leave the church and go and then work on a new one. Now, this new one I'm going to work on, that Ben the baby, so that the church can take care of you.
Yeah.
So if you were solely depending on what the old church is giving you, it means that now that you are leaving, you are going to face dangerous trials. And that is how come a lot of the young men like ourselves, we are stealing church money. Because we are not doing anything.
Okay. It also could mean that the church is not impacting them that much, isn't it?
The church is doing its best.
Because if the church is impacting so much and giving the youth that forefront to strive for greater things, though the Bible will preach about it, do something for yourself, rise up and do all this, do that. That is there. But on the hindsight, is the church actually impacting into the youth to stand up and then, we're talking about entrepreneurship here, to do something for themselves? Because immediately you start doing something, church needs you. I'm talking about those who are mostly needed in the church. No, one
problem is that the church does not work the whole week. Taking my church, for instance, you go to church on Sundays, 8:30 to 10:30. You have the rest of the day. Saturdays, singing band will meet, but they meet in the evening, 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. You have the rest of the day. Wednesdays, we meet from 6:30 to 8:30 for teaching service. You have the rest of the day. And then on Fridays, we go for prayer meeting from 6:30 to 8:30. You have the rest of the days. So this is the normal routine service we do. And even if we are going to have a week-long program, it doesn't start in the morning.
It's in the evening.
It is in the evening. So can you tell me that because of evening services, you won't work?
But I've come across youth who have been given some job opportunities and they try to consult their man of God or pastors for advice, and they will tell you, because of this practice or this service or this midweek, don't take the job.
Okay. I've been in that position where I got a job, a filling station job. And at a point, I really wanted to do the job. But my ambition, where I want to establish myself, I had a lot of things to be taken into consideration before I could say I wouldn't do it. You see, as an individual, you know where you want to go and when you want to go. You know you are a churchman. You are working for a company that produces something that affects your society negatively. If you come to me, I will only keep quiet because I may not have an alternative for you.
Okay.
But if I have an alternative, I'll tell you not to do it.
What if it is that person's passion to be in such a field?
We can't force you. You see, the church, Christianity is a choice. In as much as at the end, Jesus will come, we shall all be judged according to whatever we did. But then he said, them that received him, it means that people chose to receive him and others chose not to receive him. So whatever advice you are being given, you choose to go with it or not.
Some pastors who expel you from the church, or perhaps may not want to work with you because you disobey them and follow your own passion.
You see, one thing is that you have been in the church. As you are growing in the church, you should study a lot of things. I am always proud of where I am in the Methodist church. They teach a lot of things. They will make sure, as a young man, as a growing man, even when you want to candidate and become a minister, on the form they give you to fill, like buying a form for a tertiary institution, there is a part there that asks you, what job are you doing now? There is another part that is asking you, are you married? If yes, is your wife agreeing to the fact that you want to be a minister and that now that you are coming, you are not going to work? So is your wife ready to take care of you until you come out?
Okay.
You see the thing? So I know there are a lot of the churches who have plans. They have mechanisms that looks into all these things. So some of us, we just sit down and think that I am called. So for maybe a prophet, I can see. Soon I say I can see. And so that is it. That is not the end. Let us take our father, some of the ministers we know.
Like Dad Hayward Mills, who was then a doctor before becoming.
He became a minister.
And
then we have other ministers who currently are into full-time ministry, but they have businesses.
Sure.
They may not be the main person working at the place, but they have source of income.
That's
in that if the church cannot take care of them, their businesses can take care of them. Okay. And these are the people we are trying to learn from. But we are only learning from the parts. Let's take Pastor Mensa Otabil. He's a fashion designer. He has branded himself. He has a lot of sources of income. And he's a pastor. He comes to church. He teaches. He does what is expected of him according to what God is telling him to do. After that, after Sunday, after evening services? Where will he be?
Good for business.
So you cannot be a young minister and think that entering into full-time ministry is all about you. You wake up, you sleep, you wake up, you sleep. You see the thing? So as we are going,
some of the young ministers will tell you, my duty is to study and come and teach.
You see, I have been to a point. I've been teaching Bible to a point. And I believe there are many people, so many people who are better than I am. And I also believe that we are coming and we'll get there. But Paul made a statement. He said that everything you are doing that out of your heart. Like something that's like that of you are doing for God. And so what you are doing, at a point he told them that that hand that is not working
should not eat.
It shouldn't eat. In the ancient times, in the early times of the gospel and Christianity, you realize that God kept the ministers in the church. They were not doing anything. And the people there understood that principle. And so they were ready to work and bring that tenth to the church
to support
them. What is happening now? You will not go and work and bring all your money to me all in the name of the fact that I am a resident pastor. You see the thing? So wisdom demands that now that there have been a change in our generation, in our system, in our way of living, where in the read through Acts chapter 1, verse 12, 13, and 14, scripture says that after Jesus had left them, they all went into a room, they prayed, they ate together. Continuing that chapter, scripture talks about the fact that people sold their lands and they brought it. And somebody sold like a church and they will bring it. And when they are spreading the money,
they spread it evenly.
You see the thing? They understood it, but in our time, me, go and sell my land. Then you sell this table. Then when we are sharing, you say, I should give you the same amount I'm going to receive. No, you see the thing?
Yeah.
So it is better for a young man as you are growing.
Lovely viewers, the conversation is getting nicer and interesting. I'm enjoying myself. Not that, but I'm enjoying myself because the things I'm hearing today, I wish your Christian brother, your Christian sister, my Christian brother and Christian sister will hear this so that we will all build a society full of comfort. Employment brings comfort.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have to deny a job because of your Christian affiliation or where you want to. Even in heaven, the Bible tells you if you don't work, you shouldn't eat. So if you want to go to heaven, you must learn to work from here so that you can go to heaven and also keep them cool. But like I was saying, this show is brought to you by the Koomson inside Koomson, opposite the main gate of the Kumasi Technical University. They have everything media. In case you want your audio advertisement for your product or your shop, your business, you can contact the Koomson. And also they are into photography, they are into videography, and what have you, media. Just bring it up to them. They'll design all your works for you and give you a good souvenir printout. Koomson can be contacted on the number 0546449980, and they will do justice to you. Let's come to Pastor Koomson. And as we get to the end, getting closer to the end of this conversation, but man of God, I'm interested in this particular aspect as well. Now, there are youth who are into entrepreneurship. Most of them into big personal businesses. But you see them, instead of paying attention to the job, having time for the business to thrive or to use the business to grow, you see them putting other people on the job whilst they focus on church. Now, my question lies here. Between that unbeliever who will come and every time be at your job post and work for you. And you, the Christian who is a believer, being in the church all the time, who stands at the verge of, living a comfortable life, or perhaps, how do I put it, having that good kind of living? Because I am controlling the job. I know what comes in. You don't know. At the end of the day, I make sales to you. You might think you're making it. But I spend more time with the job than you. You find some establishing themselves even at the verge of their manager's job. Is that a good way to go as a Christian? You establish a job, and instead of handling it, you let somebody take control of it, and you focus on church.
Paul made a statement, and I want to start from there. He said that in the week, when we meet on the first day of the week, that is when we bring what the Lord has blessed us as offerings. And so he was expecting that we go to work throughout the week, and that when we meet for fellowship, we come and we give offerings. I'm not working.
How then do you pay?
Personally, I wouldn't work on Sunday. I am ready to work, but I will not work on Sunday.
Okay.
You see the thing? I will not work on Sunday. But I can also establish myself in a way where Sundays can bring me money, but not from the church.
Okay.
So coming to your question, where you are saying that I have established myself as an entrepreneur, instead of me to concentrate on the job, then I pick somebody to do it.
Why you concentrating
on church? It depends on the person's position in the church.
Okay.
It depends on the person's position in the church. And again, as I said earlier on, we don't go to church every day. That is my big problem.
I do get it, but you see, in the same context, you find Christian youth with good establishment, rather employing outside world, that is the unbeliever, as the Bible may say, to handle the job for him, because he knows that that person on Sunday will still be on post.
Okay.
On Saturday, the midweek, the person will be there, but will not go to the extent of employing more Christian members or Christian youth into the business, because he's also aware that on Wednesday he will say you are going for midweek service and might leave his product or business down. Is that not affecting the Christian?
Rather, the problem now is that, one, we consider the kind of establishment you have made. That of a petrol shop, and you're a manager, you don't leave post. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
You are a pump dispenser. You don't leave. Anything can happen. You see, but there are some jobs. The employer establishes himself. They go to work from Monday to Friday. I remember when I completed SHS, I joined this woman's clothing business in a Doom Sego Lane there. And we went to work from Monday to Saturday. Sunday, the woman herself will not come. Why should I come on Sunday? You see the thing? And there are exceptions. Sometimes, sake of what the woman wants to do, maybe she wants to bring in stock, and we have to do stock taking. In that occasion, Sunday, we can come, but it will not be within the church period. Because she was a Catholic, I am a Methodist. As at that time before COVID, we went to church around 9:30, close at 12. She goes to church at 6, she closes at 9. You see the thing? And then there is this kind of friendship between us.
Okay.
And so, Charlie, me person yambo because I die be kind near man. Near who the head ever become. Mommy Pacho, Messer, you are not telling her that times in a member. Mommy I will be here by 1. So that
after the service,
you see, so that whatever she wants to do, she will take time and meet you at the time, and you do the necessary thing. It's the industry and the lecture when exactly you are supposed to go to work. You see the thing. And then aside that, we were talking about full-time ministry and all those stuff. I established myself. My brother, church administration is one of the most difficult jobs ever happen on earth.
How is that?
Yes. One time I wrote on my status. I know a lot of people will not agree with me, but I wrote on my status that anointing does not build church. Management does.
Management does.
If you cannot manage the thing that affairs of the church, you are anointed, you can prophesy, you can do everything. If you cannot manage money, the church members will realize that the money they give in is not yielding any fruit. They will go. So in as much as you are anointed, there should be some skill in you that can manage things in the church. That is how come somebody may be in the church, establishes himself, knowing that he cannot manage it, he employs somebody
to manage.
You see the thing? So I am an accountant, and I'm trying to establish maybe a business like what you do, and then I know that I don't have too much knowledge on it, even though I may read, but there are people who have it at hand.
Yeah, they are gifted with it.
So consult them.
Sure.
Know what and when to do whatever you have to do. And if there is the need for them to come in, employ them, let them do it. Watch them. With time, you understand the whole thing and you know how to go about it. That is why we come to school. We all don't do the same course. We do different programs. And so you can establish yourself as an accountant, but you need somebody who carries the managerial skills
to support.
You need somebody who has that sec and management style to be a secretary in the job, so that things will be well organized. Because what we are teaching at the engineering side is not the same thing we are teaching at the accounting side. So if you are a church person and you establish, I love Lighthouse Chapel International, Jehovah's Witness, the way they handle themselves. If you are a doctor there, you complete school, employment becomes a problem. Somebody will hold your hand, make sure you are employed, so that you can be of service to the church.
I was coming there because most big men in the churches, we go to a church and you see that they point fingers. This man is big. This man has many link-ups, and this man is a businessman here and there. But you don't see the church members themselves getting employed by these people or getting connected by these people. And at the point you feel like, is the church incubating poverty?
The problem now is the youth. A lot of us are too proud. We are too arrogant. Some of them, they look at some things. Where I used to be before I left to the new church, there is this man who came there not long ago, and then he saw a lot of young guys. But there is this particular boy I've been working with. The man is a transport manager in the company. He just picked the guy, put him there. He's an SHS graduate. The guy is an SHS graduate who is struggling his way out to enter into tertiary. Things are so hard. The man knowing all these things, he just picked the guy, put him there. How come there are so many young men in the church?
But he rather select that guy.
You see the thing? Sure. So sometimes the problem is not with the big man. The problem is with the small man who is trying to become big.
A whole lot of pride in there.
You see the thing? Like the way they present themselves, the way they talk. We have seen a lot of people who are into the church business. We establish them, try to employ them into things, and they behave as if they have never gone to church. So sometimes the problem is not with the church. Okay. The problem is with we the youth, who are believers come to church and behave as if the whole world is for us.
Okay.
So what is going on in this era with our youth and on them? Sometimes some of them are so well into great offices and they can link you up. But some of them want to trust you. There is this job I applied for. They said they needed guarantors. On the guarantors form, it is stated there that if I run away with their money, the guarantors will have to pay 30,000 each. I don't think I'll come to you and just like that you sign.
No.
You see that?
I have to trust you that you won't do such a.
So I called this man called Godwin. I called him Godfred, and I told him that Nana, you may be, but they are saying that they need 2 guarantors. Mekano say, send me the form. I'll just. He did not even finish reading it, and then he made sure you sign the thing. He gave me money to go and do the training.
Wow. That's because he can trust you.
You see the thing. So the young men, as we are coming, we need to build that goodwill. We need to come to a point where the old men can trust us. Some of us, our own parents cannot trust us. Yeah. And you expect an outsider to trust you and give you that job. So the way you conduct yourself in the church sometimes has something to do with you not getting a job from those big men who are inside there. And sometimes too, we may see them as big men. I've been in this position where I went to some people I thought who were so big. And when I got there, I realized that they were big with their own pocket and whatever they have established themselves on. But giving you a job, they are not within that position to give you that job. Because on your HR and on your general manager. So how does this person give you the job? The only thing the person can do is to take your CV, send it to the HR, and then hope that the HR, knowing him or her, now. And so if you don't get it, it doesn't mean that they did not give to you. It means that they are not in the position to give you. And so they are talking to whoever it is that can help you. If the person says no, what can they do?
What can they do? That's deep one. It's been a wonderful one with Pastor John Koomson from the Methodist Church Apostle Society. I just second. Yeah. And I mean the conversation, if we say we'll continue to go on and on and on, because when it comes to the church and employment, in this dispensation we see the church as a whole employing a business on its own. So we want to be employed there, but yet our ambitions and our dreams get stuck because we want to forcefully be in the church and being employed, and then we can run through some things to achieve what we want to achieve. So if you're a Christian youth, you've got to wake up. You've got to go out there and build your dream. The church can support you spiritually, I believe,
and sometimes
physically with what they can, but the chunk of it has to be done by yourself. Finally, final words, Mr. Koomson. Oh, Pastor Koomson. I've been a mistake. It's like I'm taking that anointing out. Pastor Koomson, your final words to a youth out there who thinks that going out of the church for business or getting himself busy with any entrepreneurial skills might cause him heaven or might make him move away from that belief that he is into, or perhaps that closeness he has with that pastor may not be there anymore. Can you talk to this youth for me? Because until we all are in one accord to know that we have to work and survive ourselves, and then we live in a comfortable environment where everybody is peaceful, because if I have enough, I won't attack a friend. If I have enough, I won't think negative about somebody. If I have enough, I won't even try sitting in the church and hoping that the pastor will, do something for me to go to the place that will pay me bigger, because I'm comfortable. Can you speak to this youth?
Being a youth is not easy, especially when you are not financially sound from the house. It's not easy. But what I want to say is that as young as we are coming up, we may want to do full-time ministry, but still we have to do something that will serve us an income. Something decent.
That's it. That's the word. Something decent. Yeah.
That will serve us an income. And as we are coming, there is this thing I taught a lady, and it's helping her. When she started working, but then I was in my 3rd year, I told her that she should try and then spread the money into 3. That is to say, after I've deducted my tithe, she spreads the money into 3. One account is more or less like a project account.
Okay.
The other one is an emergency account. And then one should be her Momo account. That is on her spendings, the normal spendings. So that when the money hits her account, deductions has already been made. And so, anytime you want to go to church, I want to give, this year we are doing an annual harvest and we give this amount. You see, she knows where she's making her money from. Not from the project one.
Yeah.
And so, at a point in time in her life, when she wants to do something, she knows where to get money. But some of us, we are not working. And so how do we go through all these things? Beloved, let us try to do something. So I want to go to school as you.
That's it. That's it. Don't just mean
yes, I had this guy I used to preach on the roadside with, Sopho John, and I love him. I thought he didn't have anything doing. Yes, and he was preaching as if
it's a full time.
You see that thing every morning, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. This man will come, will preach on the roadside. By then, I was now giving admission to school. So sometimes you go there and then we do it together with him. But recently I called him and then he was telling me, so for me here, you maybe will be where am I from?
That's it.
So I was curious. I was like, hey, I thought you were also for what is this blocks thing? And then he told me that is what he does for a living. It tells you that these people who are coming, if we the youth, if we don't do our best to establish ourselves, this Sakawa thing, the money laundry, and then enter, even the church people will enter.
Yes, because that's an easy way of getting some income. It's not easy anyway, because you have to also have some skills, you see, to do that.
And so the issue now is that I would advise every youth that as we are coming, let us set whatever we are doing right. Maybe somebody is advising you to enter into that money, spiritual something. Please be careful.
Be careful.
Because we know some people who are having good money, but they cannot spend it.
Yeah.
They're having good money. One pastor I was moving with told me that he knows somebody who is very rich. Very, very rich. But he cannot spend more than 20 cedis a day.
Then why are you rich?
I watched this video on YouTube about this guy called Listowell or Wahine. And then he also was talking about this money ritual they did. And at the end of the day, his brother died. It was not his intention to kill the brother. But when he went, he was told that and by the time he realized his brother was dead, he went to the ritualist and asked him, then as I said, there are some things they were supposed to do because it did not come for them to do. That is why that has happened.
Oh.
And so, my brother, my sister, please, decency is a good property you have when you become an old person.
We should repeat that. Decency.
Decency is a very wonderful and a perfect property you can have when you become an old person. As you are growing, people are looking at you. When you hit your age 45, 50, 55, where age begins to catch up with you, where strength is going out. The Bible said in the book of John, he said something. He said that now, when Jesus revealed himself to Peter again, he told Peter that now that you are here, you can go where you want to go, do what you want to do. But the time is coming. You cannot do all those things. Somebody will send you to a place you don't want to go
there. Yeah.
So as we are going, people are watching us. I was astonished when a young guy met me at a bank. And he said, "Oh, so send class to class preaching and I'm preaching with school." I looked at him trying to see if I've met him somewhere.
You want to remember.
But I don't remember this guy. Also, you won't remember me because it was in a class. And so, to some point, there will be a time in our lives as we grow when there is a shift. When those people who actually went through the process and have made it are enjoying good money and peace. You may be also rich, but you will still envy them. For how long will you kill your friends because of money? So this employment thing, my brother, I actually joined you today for this world to know that whatever happens, do something with your hands. It is better you feed yourself on the little than to have everything and you cannot enjoy yourself. You need to come out to wedding a year, you wouldn't have. You see that?
Now you just have to.
I struggled in the SHS with these friends of mine, and at a point now, we took gari and sugar. 3. As at that time, there was that big one, and I was the second big.
Before that,
you see, any difference around, but I didn't answer. And somebody gave us gari. There is no sugar, there is no nothing. We poured it into water, and then we were taking it like that. But we were enjoying it.
Oh yeah, because that's what you have.
You see that? So I always tell people around me that appreciate what you have now. I have a studio. I have to go to God in prayer and do the necessary thing I have to do for the studio to grow.
Sure.
So in as much as I'm praying to God, Bible can say between them and say, "Okwadefo, contact yanche, koko suana kwan, ne hunu nyansa." And that year him say nsuo beto, and so they will make sure they get all the available food they can get. Nsuo to awada.
Any problem?
You see the thing? Age will catch up with us one day. There is a time in the life of every man called a bad day. When that day comes, what you have been doing with your life will determine. Sometimes, what is going to save you may not be the money, but the people around you. And now the whole world is coming to know that Sabo is scheduled. So when you get to that point, do you think that people will come and help? They will come and enjoy the money. But when the time comes,
that's right.
The problem. So my simple advice is that get something to do with yourself. Say school now, you get a job. Since do your best. Do something with your hand, and God will bless it.
God will bless you. So do something with your hand, and let the good God in heaven that you believe so much in and want to stay in the church for, bless it for you. He said two things that I've kept for myself, and If you don't take it, I have taken it. Because don't forget, I'm also being part of the whole conversation, and yeah, we all have to learn some way somehow.
Yeah.
Listen, it doesn't matter how long you want to make heaven. If you don't make life comfortable for yourself on earth here, you can never even have that joy. Yes, because you do a whole lot. You see, so let us as youth who are so much into the church try to make a living and not deny ourselves that comfort on earth, saying that we're waiting for heaven. Heaven will wait for us if we are willing to work it out, and only if you're willing to work it in comfort. Because we miss out on that. If you don't have that comfort, you will go through a whole lot of ways that you're not supposed to go. Please, let decency be a key that you work with. I love that word he said. He said that decency, if you well manage or well build it, will be a property that you can hold on to even in your old age. But don't forget, it has to start from now. Start working that decent life from now. And tomorrow when you are old, that decency will work for you. Assuming he hasn't been preaching in the classrooms and you met that lady. Perhaps you went there to chase a lady also, and then you meet that lady at the bank. Imagine the testimony. But this time around, it was a decent testimony, of which if she was in that capacity to bless you at that moment with something, she would have done it without hesitating. And that comes with the keynote of decency. It's been the Rising Youth Talk Show, and I've been here with Pastor John Koomson from the Methodist Apostle Circuit or Apostle Society. Methodist people like society and circuit too much.
Oh, but it's a structure. It's a structure.
It confuses sometimes. But it's been a wonderful conversation, and I believe you've enjoyed yourself. We'll come your way again next time, and we want to say thank you to Pastor Koomson for joining us. Thank you so much for the wonderful time.
For the invite.
And thank you too for being staying glued to the channel and enjoying this conversation. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow the conversation anytime, any day. Thank you so much. We'll come your way next week with another conversation.